started making this guy as a friendly monster. I wanted him to look uninviting, but be smiling and waving. When I showed my friends this guy, they all said he was creepy and scary. I told them I wanted him to look mildly creepy, and they said things like, if that was mild, I would like to know what scary would look like if you tried. One friend said, I just feel this thing has the voice of the old creeper from Family Guy and just strangles you to death. I jokingly said back, hey neighbor, want a neck hug? The waving monster of the forest story takes place 1,028 years ago. He looks like a monster living a lonely life, outcasted from the rest of the world, spending his days in the forest, walking in the woods, waiting for a friend to come along. But when people hiking in the woods do see him, they scream and run. As they run away, he just stands there smiling, waving, as they run out of his line of sight. Once they're gone, he slowly walks back into the woods as birds land on his shoulders. He's starving, but he would never eat a bird. He walks back to what he calls home. Once there, he lays down a handful of berries he found on the way. Small birds, mice, rabbits, and squirrels run out happy to see that he's back. The animals sense his gentle soul as he feeds them nearly everything he finds. He has protected small animals from the dangers of the forest for as long as he has been alive, but he cannot stand the idea that humans dislike him. He wants to learn how to become their friend. But as his attempts to befriend them grow, the stories of the monster grow as well. One day, the hunters of the nearby village has heard enough of this monster that lives in the forest. The town has put out a bounty to capture the beast, so the most experienced hunters begin to search to find him and end the terror that lives in the woods. As they talk, a group of kids hear about this, so they plan to follow the hunters to see this monster for themselves. The monster being near the village and seen in the same spot so many times, it's not long until they find him. The time they set out, it was a dark night. The monster is only seen in the day, so the hunters assume he will be asleep. As they walk, they find a beaten down path off the main trail, with branches snapped and cleared. The hunters know they are near his nest. What they see next is their torches dimly light up the monster's waving hand. As an arrow is released into the darkness as the waving hand fades back, they hear and see nothing, in silence, waiting to fight this monster. Seconds feel like minutes. Then in a flash, the sky is lit up by swirls of light, and the air roars with the sound of the wind. The hunters are frozen still, levitating off the ground and unable to move. For what the hunters see is something they will never forget. Streaks of light in the sky light up the scene of a monster holding a little girl who was struck with the arrow meant for him. The hunters are unable to scream as they watch all their weapons fade to ash. Once the last weapon is gone, they are free to move again. But the monster holds the little girl, and he looks sad. He understands the food chain and the circle of life, where he has seen many things come and go, many things loved and lost. But the death of this little girl he is holding was caused by the humans' hatred for him. The hunters, now unarmed, watch in horror as the lights swirl in the sky. The lights turn and land on the little girl. The arrow that hit her disappears, and her injuries fade away. With the thunderous boom, everything goes black, and all that is left is silence, the hunter speechless, and the little girl standing alive. where the monster once was, where she once was dead. That day, the hunters witnessed a waving monster of the forest give his own life to bring back that little girl. And that little girl lived to be over 200 years old as proof that the friendly monster once lived.